Hey everyone, Chris Mack presents today with Action Comics Annual number 5. Now this book, I know that they put it here, but the last issue, the Vindicator, Last Son of Krypton, decides that his attention is needed elsewhere and leaves the scene of the fight that he's started with still. So I'm not too 100% sure where this is supposed to take place in between the whole thing, but it's an interesting little breather from everything that has been happening. The artwork's a little different. The face here, I swear, that could either be like, who's the bad dude from Heavy Metal? Captain Stern. Has like a Captain Stern Heavy Metal face there. But it's a sound the whole world welcome back. But Metropolis, it is particularly sweet. It began with the rush of air and is followed by the thrilling shout. Look up in the sky. It's a bird. It's Superman. And even though this isn't the Superman we know, I love that we at least get this action. We're just led into Superman beating these bots down. And one thing about this particular character that I liked is at this point calling him the last son of Krypton is he is essentially emotionless. Like he's cold, calculated, and it's taken characters from all the different walks, Lois, John Henry Irons, all the people he's interacted with, to at least gain some semblance of humanity. And I think that's why I liked this book as a kid, because he's had to learn, kind of like how Clark did growing up, but he had the parents and people that guide him instead of just people off the street that he has no memories of, like Lois, Jimmy, etc., so forth. Now, while all this is happening, we take a break from the last son of Krypton, and we're introduced to this character here, who off the top of my head I cannot remember what the hell his name is. But anyway, you can see that he's disabled and having to use these as walkers, and you can tell he's so mad. He goes, "Here comes Metropolis's finest, janitors." Now, another Superman character that I've always enjoyed is Maggie Sawyer, who he worked with in for the Metropolis Police. And you come to find out that this guy, even though he's a good cop, he was a bit of a wild card and always kind of ended up causing problems for Maggie. And she can see that even though he's injured, she's trying to get him back on the street so that he can get his mind refocused. Now, I've never served in the military. I've never worked with law enforcement. But, a lot of these people, this is their life. This is what they know. And when it's taken away, they don't feel like they can contribute anymore. And so this whole book in that regard is what really hits you in the feels. And I'm not 100% sure where the, is, the credits, but it's Jeff Loeb writing, Lee Moder doing the art, Joe Urbanstein, Jose Marsden Jr., Terry Beatty, and Tom Zucco, and Albert de Guzman. Again, I slaughter names, so feel free to make fun of me down in the comments. But Maggie wants this guy to join the higher ranking SCUs. But again, she says, "You're a wild card. I'm worried about you." And of course, you go on a pursuit. His name's Walker. There it is. And he causes a whole world of hurt for Maggie yet again, which leads us into why he's disabled. And as we see here, a particular gun pointing up along with an EKG, you can see what he's thinking. Now, thankfully, thank God, he gets a call that gets him to beat the street. He's looking for a lead, which leads him into an alleyway with this character. And he's like, "You're a little uptown to be working this far downtown. I don't know. Maybe I'm just what you're looking for." And you're thinking, where is this coming from? He's like, "What you got in mind?" "I'm famished. I'd love to get something to eat." And it kind of takes him off guard, which, bad idea. Something happens. And so you figure out these guys are aliens. This other dude's Glump, and I'm not too sure who the rest of the characters' names are off the top of my head. But you come to find out that they're essentially like vampire aliens that are feeding on the humans here. And that's what Walker was initially brought down to this to beat the streets, was to find out the missing people in this area. Now, again, this character, which again don't know her name off the top of my head, like it was an interesting read when you get older. When I was younger, I hated this because it wasn't the action of the Reign of Superman. But going back again, this is a very good human interest book. And this particular vampire alien now has her eyes on this new man of Steel. And she uses her looks to act like a damsel in distress so that she can get close to them. And as you can see, she becomes something else. Now, this is, I've never heard of this character other than this book, but this is the first appearance of a dude named Loose Cannon. Now, he's kind of important. I don't want to give away everything in this book, but he's tied close to what's already happened in this book, and he doesn't understand who he is at this point. His head feels like scrambled eggs, and he can't control his powers. Now, what I like is he's trying to figure out a look because he realizes he's naked. He's like, naked! He starts running, and you could tell what era this was because he goes, I'm an ugly cuss, ain't I? And I love how just enough to not get sued, we get that lovely Terminator 2 Ronald look there. Stills an outfit. You can see where he gets the inspiration. Now, this character has all the powers of these vampire aliens, but he wants to do good. And it brings into a major confrontation with the Man of Steel, these vampire aliens, along with understanding. And I like how the last son of Krypton here shakes hands with Loose Cannon after going to fisticuffs with him. He goes, maybe it is time, friend. And he's just like, I shook Superman's hand, which brings Loose Cannon into the sights of Maggie Sawyer. Like I said, I don't want to give too much away. I wish to a degree that this book, or at least this character, would have had more development. I could see where Jeff Loeb decided to just try something completely new since this was an annual, and it's not very rare that something big and epic happens in an annual. So I can appreciate this now that I'm older. And it was a fun read. It was a little loose and fast, but you can see how this book kind of built on what Jeff Loeb has done with other series that we've read now in modern times. So if you all have enjoyed what you've seen here in Action Comics Annual number 5, please first and foremost support your local comic shop or wherever it is like to get your action figures and comics and grab this book. And if you've enjoyed this review, I really would appreciate if you take a moment to hit that Loose Cannon bell. Next, subscribe. That way, as I continue to upload content, you'll get notified. Come to the channel, and I love talking with y'all and hearing your thoughts and feedback down in the comments below or the socials, which I'll make sure those links down in the description. So with all that said, hope y'all continue to have an absolutely amazing day reading, and happy hunting, everyone.